All right, example 3, we're going to use the converse of the isosceles triangle theorem. Even if they didn't tell us that that's what we were going to use, we'll be able to figure that out. What are the lengths of all 3 sides of the triangle? So let's take a look at our triangle, triangle PQR. We are given 3 sides labeled with X's, but then we're also given 2 congruent angles. So if you have 2 congruent angles, the converse of the Isosceles triangle theorem tells us that the opposite sides will be congruent. So I know that PR is congruent to QR. So that's the equation that we can set up. Because they're congruent, their measurements will be the same. So our equation is going to be x plus 20 equals 8x over 3. All right, so we're going to solve for x. This fraction might throw some people off. So one way to get rid of fractions, and if you guys had me last year, you'll recognize this. To get rid of fractions in an equation is to multiply everything by the denominator of your fraction. So let's multiply everything by a 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a positive 20 is a positive 60. 3 times 8x is, I'm just going to write it off on this side, 24x. But then we're going to take that 24x and divide it by this 3. 24x divided by 3 is 8x. And now we have an equation with no fractions. We do notice that the x's are on opposite sides of our equal sign, so let's get those together. We can subtract 3x from both sides. So 60 equals 5x, and then if you divide both sides by 5, x is equal to 12. So, woohoo, we did a lot of work. We thought a bunch. Are we done with the problem? So always, just a reminder, always go back to see what did they actually ask me to find. They want to know what are the lengths of all 3 sides of the triangle. Well, we didn't find the lengths of all 3 sides. We found the value of x. Although the value of x will give us the length of all 3 sides. We're just going to plug in a 12 for all the x's. Over here, we have x plus 20. So 12 plus 20 is 32. So PR is equal to 32. And because PR and QR are congruent, I know what QR is. QR is 32. Then we can take that 12 and plug it in to PQ. So 6 times 12 minus 12. That's going to give us 72 minus 12, which is 60. So PQ is equal to 60. Second or follow-up question, find the perimeter of triangle PRQ. Well, we just figured out all 3 sides. So the perimeter is going to be equal to the sum of those. So let's just add up our 3 sides. 32 plus 32 plus 60. 32 plus 32 is 64. 64 plus 60 is 124. And I'm looking for a label. I don't see one, so I'll just say 124 units for our perimeter.